what were these beetles? No, they didn't seem aggressive by any means. Lilac beetles are exceptional beings. They exclusively live in the shadow plane, in the most dark regions, where they seek their beloved shadow fungi. They are easily extinguished by the purple light. I believe the creator of this mod meant they are easily distinguished by the purple light they emit. Interesting. Well, if they were harmless, then it was fine, he supposed. And these piles of stones. A corpse? Another lost soul. Invitation. To the members of Rolehaven. Invitation to the LISP meeting to be held from Uktar 8, 1375 DR, the 312th day of the year, in the illustrious home of Darchimus. On behalf of Darchimus, Chairman of League of Interplanar Supreme Beings, LISP has the pleasure to inform you of the arrangements for the above-mentioned meeting. Registration will take place on the first day of the meeting. The secretary responsible of this meeting is Lord Blake, whom you may contact for any administrative arrangements. Please return the registration from before Uktar 6th, 1375 DR, 310th day of the year. I look forward to seeing you. Yours sincerely, Darchimus. Well, it's doubtful it will ever come in use or even be brought up again, but he'd keep an eye out for it just in case. It was odd that the beetles just wandered about. They didn't attack the other denizens of the realm either. They didn't appear to be predators, but the other denizens hadn't attacked them either. It made Victor curious what the ecosystem was actually like on this plane. Unfortunately, taking the time to actually study it would involve him staying here much longer than he wanted to. Oof. More quakes. To say that those are getting Victor a little wary would be an understatement. Understandably so. The entire dimension shaking around him constantly is not a pleasant experience. Now, what is this? A temple of some sort? Difficult to make out once more. But there are definitely more shadows. Quite a few of them at that. With that handled, at this point Victor's just trying to get some kind of grip on what he needs to do. The temple might be a clue. Nothing on top. Perhaps inside? A grand cathedral ceiling? Lit braziers? Light overflowing? Clear water? This was not what he'd been expecting on a realm like this. And a mystical forge that when he touched re-energized him. Perhaps these waters are what the skeleton was mentioning? Well, it was noteworthy, but it would certainly give him a safe place to rest, it would seem. But I still haven't actually retrieved his weapon, wherever it may be. So for now, Victor will have to just simply move on. Seems he's explored this area as much as he can. Have to go searching for a portal, I suppose. Ah, there's one. Reaching out to touch it once more. Let's try to go back to the grove, perhaps. Yes, this is where he'd been sent before. More beetles. They hadn't been here last time. Perhaps they just bled through the dimensions. Or moved up. It's hard to say. So that cave appears to simply go back into the rest of the forestry. Is there another way down further somewhere? Well, there's definitely something down there. A corrupted shadow bear. That doesn't sound like an enjoyable experience. Finish patrolling this ledge first. No, there's nothing else. Alright. It's only one way down, then. Well, in that case, perhaps it's time to experiment just a little bit. First, Victor will want to see if his... Oh, I didn't actually slot it, did I? Lightning bolts will actually have any effect. He also will want to know if this has any effect. Yes, both of those, well, that at least will. What about lightning bolt? Fantastic. Lightning works just as well. And it seems they're not quite as threatening as Victor assumed. No, yeah, he has this just fine. They seem to cloak the area in a very, very deep darkness, though, just passively. Thankfully, between his enchantments, he doesn't actually take that much damage. And his ring's healing is... His ring or his cloak? The healing that he obtains naturally covers what little damage he sustains. Now, what is over here? Nothing. Though that water does look like actual water instead of darkness, so clearly it does exist here on some level, unless it's just the plains leaking out again. Well, this is curious. A cemetery and a shrine of some sort. And there's that woman again. You get a good luck. That'll work. And the ghostly visage speaks to you, her words ethereal. Umbral is the orchard, and spiders love the vine. And Dryad builds the straw-built shed, warm with the blood of kine. And rogue she hears the whisper of a blighted youth she made, in Mool's ivory moonlight beneath the chestnut shade, not spade. Narrator can't speak. More riddles. And he can't help but shake the feeling that he's been in this cemetery before. Where is it ringing bells? The icy ground, the cemetery itself. The layout was even similar, but he couldn't. And then it clicked with the memory of the bears. This was just like the area outside of Hilltop. It truly was taking chunks from his memory and phasing it into reality here in the Shadow Plane. It was just like the Elven burial ground. He felt a tug on his shoulders and couldn't be certain if he was imagining it or if the elves that had gifted him the cloak were agreeing with him. Rat of some sort. Corrupted and changed by by this plane. It was identical. The road was just a bit shorter. Obviously, this wasn't going to be taking him back to Hilltop, though. Where would this lead? More of these damn rats. Before he delved into this, he wanted to see if there was a way to examine that last area on the other side of... More of these damned rats. They're everywhere. That made 6 so far? Little bastards could actually deal a bit of damage if they managed to get a flank on him as well. Death by 1,000,000 paper cuts. Luckily, he should have no issue taking them out before such an unfortunate event took place. Though they were a bit difficult for him to hit. There we are. Now he wants to see if there is a way down. There isn't from where he's standing. He's curious about down there, though. That's why he wants down. Because clearly that's a path leading somewhere. Perhaps on the other side of this entrance? Did the rats just continuously form? That was possible. It'd be troublesome if they just kept coming out of the woodwork, though. Within the Shadow Realm, the Shadow Grove. The trees in this grove seem to move, as if on their own. And darkness stripped even closer, and then a spider, of course. Anytime you go into the depths of a forest, you run into giant spiders. And vines of some sort seem to be attacking him. Not exactly what Victor would consider an enjoyable holiday by any means. The spider was tough as well. Though thankfully it didn't seem to be capable of harming him too well. But it really was quite durable. He finally managed to bring the damn thing down. Not being able to use Fireball was quite the offensive limitation. If he didn't have the staff, he'd actually be doomed. The tentacles seemed to just shoot out of the ground and lash out at him. Luckily, they weren't too difficult to cut down, but there didn't seem to be an end of them. This bulb of some sort. Right then. So the forest itself was alive and wanted to kill you. Noted. It was like a damn antisocial druid that hated civilization. Thankfully, they hadn't had one of those in their group at Drogon's. Another one of these damn shadow spiders, though, which was almost as bad. It's infuriating how difficult it was to hit, combined with how durable it was. Once he managed to cut this one down, he would need to take a breath. That is, if this forest actually allowed him to do so. Luckily, it appeared it would. Right then. He wasn't prepared for this. Luckily, it still didn't seem to be too much of a threat, but if this was just the little standard spiders he had to deal with, Victor was not looking forward to the idea of dealing with whatever queen may lay nearby, because there always was one. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to see future content, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. If you'd like access to bonus content, such as special privileges on my personal Discord, extra information on my stories and world building, or perhaps simply wish to support my work here, please consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Thank you for all your time, and I can't wait to see you in the next chapter of our story.